Hey, it's Grabby Peep Suzanna here today, and I'm sharing with you week 5 in my memory planner. So this past week that we just finished, I'm trying to stay on top of it. That is the left-hand page, and then coming up next is going to be the right-hand page. So I hope you are enjoying seeing my process. What I've done here is I've already pre-printed the pictures and sort of laid out a possible structure. I have also pulled papers, so I'm trying to use up my stash for this. So this is a piece of scrap from Imagineast. You can see it's really, really old, but I have chosen it for the maroon color. And so my color palette is based on papers from Pink Paisley's C'est La Vie, and I think it's the Wonderstruck collections. So I want to work with maroon, that sagey green, and black, and those are my primary colors. And I really wanted to integrate the maroon into this because of Chinese New Year. So it's just one day, and it's not even actual Chinese New Year, but we celebrate it early. And so that is what I'm working on here. You can see I have that little collage of 5 pictures. Then I have the Chinese New Year with the Chinese characters and the tiger, because it's going to be the year of the tiger, and then a picture of the 3 of us at dim sum. Somehow I want to integrate all 3 of those, well, the collage and then the other 2 pictures, and you're going to see me struggle with this. So I want to remind you that I am new to memory planning. This is you learning with me as I go along on how these things are going to go. So the process will become a whole lot smoother as I become more comfortable with this. This is only my full week 4 spread. And so I'm learning. So for example, this is me thinking that I'm going to put a little slide for those photos so that it's kind of like a, what are those things where you click the memory decks, right? Except that, yeah, I cut it too short, but it was fine. It was a happy accident because honestly, with just those thin tops and bottoms, that way there's less bulk to the page, right? And that's what I'm looking for. I am looking for less bulk. My last week, week 4, was incredibly bulky, and I started to get worried. So much so that I actually skipped a week, and I may glue those pages together. I may just leave them as they are. So I am working in a 6-month book. I'm hoping that this is going to become more of a 4-month book by skipping. I think I'm going to work in 2 pages and then skip a page, possibly work in 3 pages like I've done and then skip a page. Again, more just for the bulk. I'm concerned that the binding is going to split on that. So what I've done is I've created a little window for each of those little pictures, and now I'm going to use my ThermoWeb double-sided tape to adhere that down. And actually I have 2 sizes here. I have the 1/8 inch and then the 1/4 inch, and partly because I have 2 different sizes. But I really like this as a strong, sturdy tape that will adhere those interactive elements but not be too bulky in the page there. So you're going to see me fuss around a little bit here with the 2nd and 3rd picture. So the picture of the tiger and the picture of the 3 of us at dim sum. I really want to have all of this on there. But I also have a stamp from Paper Person that has a tiger on it for Chinese New Year. And I also want to incorporate that into it. So I see this or that. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? That's what the hand movements there are. Me trying to figure out how I'm going to incorporate this. And honestly, you are not going to see the solution to that until the very end. I tend to try and move on to other subjects when I get stumped, and then come back to it, hoping that maybe working on something has provided some perspective. So I'm just going to chomp just tiny bits of that corner there just to add a little bit more of a asymmetrical, well, a reverse round edge to that. It's just a little bit more visually interesting. So I've got that in there. That is the most important element of the week. And now I am going to move on to the other parts of the week. And I realized that I have not stamped the dates. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to get some chipboard and put that behind. Again, I have a very bulky week from the week prior. So even though I have skipped a week, I still need that solid chipboard behind. So I have to tell you that I had a little exchange with Daniela Dobson about memory planning, and I got some recommendations from her that she works in a 3-month book, and she stamps her whole 3 months out, so that when things get a little bumpy and lumpy underneath the pages, she doesn't have to worry about that. I am hoping I'm not going to have to do that, but that is a tip that I thought that I would pass on to you. I tend to not have lots of lumps and bumps up there. Most of my lumps and bumps are within the actual page itself. So I am using here, this is Freckled Fawn washi. So all of the washi that I'm using is Freckled Fawn, except for the dark green, the non-floral, the one with the polka dots is going to be Simple Stories. And so this is a maroon with a rose gold that has the days of the week in it. And so I'm just going to cover the days of the week that are already there, and I skipped over that, and just banner notch the left-hand side of that so that that adds a little bit more maroon to the page. And I just love the fun splash of color that that gives that, and it just makes the days of the week a little bit more interesting than the ones that are pre-printed there. I like the pre-printed ones, but I want to have some variety through my weeks as I do that. And gold is perfect. What I did realize, though, is that I thought I had a lot more rose gold in my collection than I do in my stash, and so I was not able to find any other rose gold for the numbers at the top in the header there, so I will end up having to resort to something else. So these are stamps from Tuesday morning that are actually from Tim Holtz. So again, I am just trying to use up stash. I'm trying to find purpose to all these things that have been sitting in my stash for a really, really long time. And I love that I am not only able to keep daily memories and snippets of our weeks, but also that I am able to totally bust through my stash and find new life for these things. So I'm going to use the numbers that accompany this, and I'm going to stamp them in black. I was just checking on the dates there. I didn't want to put the first wrong day, right? That would be terrible. And then I will skip ahead and save you having to watch that, but there's all of the dates stamped there. So now I can proceed with my memory keeping for the rest of the week. So in the papers, the pattern papers that I pulled from C'est La Vie, the Pink Paisley C'est La Vie collection, there are flowers that are very much like these. They're kind of like peonies that Heidi Swapp has as stamps. And so I thought I want to integrate that into the page. Honestly, I wanted to have it on the both sides of the page so that it was a uniting element across both pages. However, I was not able to do that. I thought honestly that the paper was going to be on the left-hand side that would then give that purpose to it, but I found that I used a whole lot less pattern paper on this particular page than I did on other pages. I am first a scrapbooker, and in scrapbooking I use a lot of pattern papers to back photos or for layers. This is slightly different memory keeping, and you don't need to back photos. In fact, backing photos gives you the bulk. So if you look at my week 4, there's a fair amount of bulk to the page. And so I tried to get away from that and not actually back my photos, which you can see I'm going to keep trying to do. Like that particular piece of pattern paper is the integrating color scheme for me, and I really, really wanted to use it to back a photo. But A, you're not going to see all of that color, and B, I don't need the double layers, right, in a memory planner. So you'll see that struggle, and hopefully I'm done with it now because I'm really pleased with the way that this week turned out, with a lot more balance of interactive elements, single photos, and storytelling. So these are the new stamps from the Stamp Society, Heidi Swapp's subscription stamps, once a month subscription stamp subscription. That was a tongue twister. So I wanted to use that to house one of these photos. And you can see, because the inside of those tags aren't there, they don't go down straight. And if you're type A, highlighted, bolded, and underlined like me, that is a struggle. The struggle is real. So I'm just trying to get these lines straight, and working on that grid. The We Are Memory Keepers grid paper is really cool, because you can line things up through your clear acrylic blocks. So I am stamping. I'm using some Catherine Pooler stamps. I'm going to use the lighter of the two greens that have been sitting on my desk since Christmas, since December, and that is sage. And then for the little tag protector, the circle tab thingy, I will use spruce. And I'm going to use this to house the photo of my daughter for Tuesday when she had a migraine. So we had some pretty serious storms blow through here with a lot of high and low pressure changes. And she got a pretty bad migraine. Her rescue med, which is $100 a pill, and the insurance company will not pay for it until she's 18. That has been really, really good. Did nothing for her. So I had to go and pick her up from school. And that is what Tuesday is all about. And that is what the photo is. So the photo I converted to black and white because A, it was dark up in her room as she was sleeping this off. And B, there's just a lot of color within the darkness, if that makes any sense. And also it was a dark moment in our week. And so I liked the black and white photo. So originally I was going to use it that way, horizontally, but I find that with the horizontal movement already of the spaces for each day, I wanted to get a little bit more vertical. I want to break out of that box a little bit. And so I decided I'm going to fold the tag and have it be a flip up for my photo with more room for journaling underneath, which was perfect. So the photo's slightly larger than the tag, but I'm not going to worry about that. It works perfectly there. So the other thing that I have learned is I like structure, and so I do like to follow design principles. So in essence, when you look at this left-hand page, you're going to see that there are 3 columns. You have your left-hand side, leftmost column that's going to house the numbers. Then you have your middle column that just has those dark picture, that migraine picture. And then you have your right-hand column that has the other pictures. And so I like the structure that provides to my pages. And I try and line up borders of either photos or journal blocks, and it gives some semblance of flow to that week. So that stamp there is a Hero Art stamp, and it is called Red Royal, and so that is the maroon color that I'm going with, and I like that contrast there between that really dark black and the maroon. And again, that is a paper person stamp, and it says "This really sucks." So I want to find something that's going to hold, there you go, that photo down on the flip up. So I just put chalk and powder on that sticker. It's actually a Heidi Swapp puffy arrow, and then just put some of my double-sided tape, the really thin tape, on the side that's going to stick, so that the head of the arrow is what holds that photo down. Again, busting through my stash, this is old Heidi Swapp word phrases in her handwriting. So Thursday was National Chocolate Cake Day, and a coworker of mine made a cake and brought it in, and I had also made a cake at home. Mine was a box cake from Trader Joe's. It was the chocolate mochi chocolate cake with peanut butter frosting, and it was very dense. I don't recommend it. It wasn't disgusting, but it also wasn't. It uses rice flour, which was it's a dense flour. It's a dense cake, and it was okay. But after you'd had Natalie's, my coworker's really yummy chocolate cake, yeah, that was tough. So then Wednesday, which are the black and white photos that I just put down, my son sent me a photo of himself. I actually requested photos, and I'm going to try and request once a week that he send me a photo so I can incorporate him into our weeks. And it happened to be on the same day he received his swimming parka, and the same day that Mia received her high school swimming boat jacket. And so I thought that was perfect, and that allowed me to use the Everyday Explorers clothing stamp set that I had. And you'll see that coming up, the stamping there. So I happen to have these labels on my desk from some other project that I was working on, and they go with the color scheme. And so they actually are going to just end up being white space in my memory planner, which is absolutely fine. There's so much going on here that I think having that white space of just those empty labels is absolutely perfect. So that is a picture of Jasmine. She's one of our 2 cats. She has a small chicken problem, a very large chicken problem, actually. So once a week, I go grocery shopping at Costco. Monday happened to be the day this week. And once a week on my Costco days, I bring her home a rotisserie chicken. So it is under the guise that I am having rotisserie chicken on my salad for lunch, and then the rest of the week she eats the leftovers of that. So when I get lunch, so too does Jasmine get some of her chicken. That's the story. So Friday, which I'm working on now, I also with my Stop the Blur, so I don't subscribe to the actual kit, but with the Stamp Society, I can get the add-ons. So I got the tags and I got the vellum envelopes. And so I decided to use the envelope as a place to nestle the photo, and then use that tag to house the journaling or part of the journaling. I actually have not finished the journaling for this, largely because this photo is of me recording a podcast with Jennifer from Simple Scrapper. So I will be it'll be live in March. And so I didn't want to say too much of the story and have that knowing that I am going to publicly post this before that. So I will continue my journaling once this has gone live and the pictures have in half an hour, when I'm finished recording and uploading this, I will finish my journaling, so you will not see all of the story there. So that covers a little bit of the peony stamped flower, but that's okay because you can still see enough of it. So I have finally decided that I cannot possibly have all of the photos. So I'm going to surrender the one with the tiger, although you will see me try, because I have the tiger stamp that I really, really wanted to use. And Chinese New Year is not going to happen any more than once a year. And so I will probably not be able to use this again. So I need to just use it and be done with it. So that is the tiger, and then the year of the tiger stamp, both of those are from Paper Person. The stamp that I just put down says fits perfectly with a checkbox because both of them had their new gear. And so you can see I've got all of my photos arranged perfectly, and now it's time to go in and I want to have like titles for each day or subtitles, subcaptions for each day. So for the chocolate cake day, I'm just going to use chalk cake. Matching this sagey green was really hard for me. A lot of my stuff is more blue, kind of more teal than it is this sage green or mint green or whatever color you want to call this. So I'm going to use those. These are really old basic gray stickers, and then letter stickers. I will write national and day around it, and then I will do my journaling. I will tell you that all of my journaling will happen off camera, and it will always happen off camera, largely because it just takes me too long. I don't pre-write it. I write directly on the pages, and there's a lot of thinking that goes on. So I am borrowing this idea. I'm stealing this idea from Emma Kate over in the UK. She used these Ellie Studio stickers in her spread that she last shared, and so I loved them. They work perfectly. Great idea, Emma Kate. Thank you so much. Just to put Chinese New Year, or CNY for Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is actually today, Tuesday. This is the first day of Chinese New Year, but we were down near the Chinese dim sum restaurant, and we figured while we were down there we would go ahead and celebrate early. It's a busy week for us, and so it was just a way of being able to get that celebration in before swim meets this coming weekend and all of that kind of stuff. So for some of you who may not know, I am actually half Chinese. I was born in Malaysia. And I grew up in Hong Kong. I left when I was 17, and my dad is Chinese. So I was raised celebrating some of the Chinese traditions, and that happens to be one of them, a major one of them. So these are Cosmo Cricket. Anybody remember Cosmo Cricket? These are Cosmo Cricket letters, and I have to tell you, these stick the best of all of the letter stickers that I'm going to use today. They are amazing. So I am using those letters to put in interview, and I really love that red contrast to that sage up the top there, especially with that off-print stamped peony there. It may not be a peony, but I'm going to call it a peony because that's what it looks like to me. I later found some rub-ons. Like I remember having a lot of rub-on letters, and I thought, oh, those would be great in my memory planner too, because they won't take up a lot of depth in the page. And so as I was rifling through, I found the butterflies that are this similar sagey green color. And so I will do that off camera. The other letter stickers that I'm going to use are some black letter stickers that you've seen me use quite a bit if you follow my work. From Tim Holtz, and I'm going to put Migraine on that black and white washi from Freckled Fawn there. And I believe that is going to pretty much wrap up what I do on camera. I am going to put in photos for Sunday on the 30th. Mia went driving her first off-road, out of the parking lot off-road experience, and so I have 3 photos there, but it's simple. I literally made a 3-photo collage, stuck them down, and then journaled. There's nothing fancy in that at all. So if you head over to Instagram, you can see a little walkthrough of the interactives of that. Coming up at the end here, I am going to also put close-ups. So here, this is where I get that second picture, and I am going to put washi on the back to attach it, and then so it also is a flip out on the pull out. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you are learning along with me and don't find the whole process too frustrating. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. Enjoy the close-ups. Come back again soon. Take care.